What does it mean to present in a balanced and impartial manner? This is extremely difficult. So I'm going to use an example from the Rape and Pregnancy Controversies in the United States Elections article. Okay, so how many people are familiar with the comments that were made by the candidates during this, many of the Republican candidates here during the sort of election cycle? Yeah, anybody not familiar with what they said? Yeah, anyone not? Because then I'll tell the story. Okay, everybody's familiar. Yeah, no? Oh, you're not? Okay. So I'll use Todd Aiken as an example here. He, because that was the one that sort of started it all, during the election, made several comments about how there are different kinds of rape, one being legitimate and one being illegitimate. Do you remember this now? Yeah, okay. And then another part of his comment was that if a woman is legitimately raped, she will not get pregnant because her body won't allow that to happen. So there was a whole article then created on this series of comments made by a series of Republican candidates. The question is, how do you present this material? And at a certain point, the article looks different now. At a certain point, this is what the article looked like. So look at this part over here, okay? Opponents of abortion have claimed that women have a biological reaction to rape that makes rape victims unlikely to get pregnant. In a 1972 article, Dr. Fred Mecklenburg argued that pregnancy is unlikely from rape because women are less likely to ovulate after trauma, an assertion for which he cited as evidence Nazi medical experiments in Nazi death camps. And then there's a citation to that. Former president of the National Right to Life Committee and general practitioner John C. Wilkes said rape victims are unlikely to get pregnant in a book published in 1985, in a 1999 article, and in a 2012 interview. These claims were dismissed by professors of obstetrics at Harvard Medical School and the University of North Carolina. Okay, before we look at the revision, how does this read? If you are a person reading this, how does that read? It has citations. Is it this neutral point of view of what is verifiable? What about the language that's used? Yeah.
It presents both sides relatively equally. It does debunk the information, but it cites it and sources it, so it supports the information.
Okay, so first off, it does present both sides, right? But there's one sentence for the scientifically valid side, right? And there's everything else is for the completely, this is completely untrue, right? For the completely untrue scientifically, the sort of pseudoscience, right? And it, although it uses the phrase, opponents of abortion have claimed, right? You have to be a very careful reader to realize that's actually saying they have claimed, but it's not true. You have to be very careful. And what if you stop reading? Right? Okay. So, of course, they do make it look less reliable because they're like, oh, they're using Nazi medical experiments, right? That makes somebody look less credible, right? So this is a revision. Opponents of abortion have claimed that women have a biological reaction to rape that makes rape victims unlikely to get pregnant. Then the citation, right? Then we get, but these claims have been roundly dismissed by professors of obstetrics at Harvard Medical School and the University of North Carolina. What's the difference?
All the information's in one sentence, like one little group. So it's like you can't, most people don't stop reading like midway through a sentence.
Yeah.
So everyone like will get all the information in one little tidbit.
Yeah, they're going to get all the information, right? And also, what has happened to all of these people? These links are all gone, right? You're not foregrounding people who made pseudoscientific claims. like Fred Mecklenburg, the National Right to Life Committee, you know, you're not, those people are gone, right? I mean, they're in the reference. If you want to find them, you can, because that information is still there. It's just much harder to get to, right? And your foregrounding, yes, it's true that they've claimed this, and there are references for that if you want to see that, but really, it's been totally debunked. Right, so this is a total, I mean, these are both within that realm of neutral point of view. But you can see that they tilt one way or the other. And this is part of understanding that every edit you make to Wikipedia is, in a way, a political edit. Right? You're making a political edit, even if you follow the rules. These both follow the rules, but they emphasize something different. And it's really important to understand that you can follow the rules but do something different, depending on what kind of language you choose to use, what kind of structure you choose to use. And people come to these pages to get information, and the information that you're going to give out is going to affect how people think about these issues.